Our next presenter is going to be Miss Juliana Schneider. She's presenting for the FTC team 21217, the Phoenixes program that's located in Reno, Nevada. I think I got a whole team here, do I, Juliana? I see
Yes.
some young faces. I get real excited when I see these young guys that are actually doing the program with you. So it's been a great advantage to see our young kids moving forward. So can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely, yeah, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak today. We have a short presentation prepared, so give me one moment to share my screen. All right, so does everybody see that? Okay, perfect. My head's going to be turned this way because I have a second monitor. Um,
Not yet.
so,
Is it coming up for everybody yet?
It's up.
There it is. Just came up. We're good.
Okay, perfect, awesome. As Ms. Lott said, we are the Phoenixes. We are a First Tech Challenge team, and we'll get into what that means in a second. We established the first NASA Astro Camp in Nevada, and since then we've had other camps join us, and it's so wonderful to see that kind of forging path and having people follow for that, because this is a wonderful opportunity, and we're here to hopefully share some tips that will help people get their camps up and running. I am Julia, you'll see there Juliana Schneider. I'm the director of the NASA Astro Camp here, and I have Aiden Schneider, the team captain of the Phoenixes, and one of our facilitators on the call as well. So I mentioned first, we are a First Tech Challenge team, which means that we fall under the nonprofit known as First. They run a number of programs for K through 12 kids to compete in robotics, but their overarching mission is really described in their name as well. Their goal is to inspire and recognize science and technology in students and further STEM education through a competitive robotics program format that has seasons and challenges for each year to get kids involved with robotics skills through that competitive format. We compete in the First Tech Challenge program within all the programs offered by First. So that's a competitive program where 7th through 12th graders build, design, program robots that compete in an alliance format against other teams. And every season we get a new challenge that is usually related to some sort of societal issue or a development goal. So we're working with transportation, things like electricity, renewable energy. It all depends on sort of the focus that is being taken as the theme for that year of First. And so we compete in a game in which there's elements like plastic to be cleaned out of oceans, or we need to be transporting blocks to power up energy modules. And so it makes these societal issues that our next generation will be dealing with into a sort of gamified version that gets kids involved with it through robotics programs. You'll see over here a photo from one of the Northern Nevada League meets that we've competed in. You'll see Aiden Schneider over here, our facilitator and team captain, working as a volunteer to inspect robots. And so this is a great example of a snapshot from what our league meets look like. We tend to compete quite a lot throughout the September to April season. In which we have league meets, about 4. Then we have a tournament, state competition, and the world's competition. And so these are ample opportunities for the kids involved in these teams to get into robotics. And part of our mission as a team, which you'll hear more about later, is to make sure that that's not just limited to our team members, that anybody who comes in contact with our team members benefits from that same opportunity to access high-quality STEM education. So a little bit about our founding. Aiden and I founded this team. We're 2 veteran First competitors. We have 16 First awards and 10 seasons of experience between us across First Lego League, First Tech Challenge, and First Global Challenge. So national and international work that we've done, both competing in and mentoring teams from First. And here, actually, the picture is not from First. This is from a Congressional App Challenge, which is another one of the opportunities we help spread into our community. Aiden and I won the Congressional App Challenge for Nevada's 2nd District 2 years in a row. And so we help coach kids through the team to also engage in that and compete for that opportunity to present to the U.S. House of Representatives. So a little bit about me. I'm a student at MIT. I'm a graduate of the Davidson Academy of Nevada. NASA Astro Camp is my 4th NASA position and my 2nd NASA mentorship position. I am so glad to be here with you all today. This is really sort of my people and my space, and I really enjoy working with NASA initiatives. They really ring true with my values. I'm a First competitor and volunteer 5 years. You'll see the photo here is a really happy moment from the Robotics Olympics in 2018, where the engineering notebook that I had authored with the team I was competing with there, won second out of 196 competing countries. And so this is the founder of First. Dean came in taking a picture with me for the notebook. And this is the type of opportunities that we spread in our community. I'm also a U.S. Presidential Scholar, a National Merit Scholar, National Center for Women in Computing, affiliate winner, and a Dean's List finalist. And so all of these opportunities that I pursued, and that Aiden will talk a little bit about his as well, we help channel students from a young age into them, because it really is a question of accessibility is what we believe. And so we'll get more into that philosophy in a second, but I'll give Aiden a moment to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Aiden. I'm the team captain and facilitator of this NASA Astro Camp. I am a student at the Davidson Academy of Nevada, and I'm dual enrolled at the University of Nevada, Reno. This is my third NASA position and my first NASA mentorship position. I have been a first competitor and a volunteer of 7 years, and I won the Congressional App Challenge in 2021 with my app RoboConnect, which bridges geographical gaps between robotics teams. I'm also a First Place Inspire Award winner and a Winning Alliance Award winner as well.
Awesome. So now that you know a little bit about us, our sort of experiences really factor into the whole mission of the team and why we founded it and how we're continuing it with our counterparts from the Davidson Academy. So we wanted to create a collaborative robotics environment. And what we mean by that is that it is self-driven. The teammates take on, what it is they want to do, where they want to go each season, but it is mentor supported. And so as students pursue their passion for STEM very rigorously within the team and develop their robotic skills, they simultaneously give back to their community that makes that opportunity possible by running thoughtful and well-executed outreach programs. And so through this approach, we strive to cultivate not only inter-team STEM excellence, but community-wide STEM excellence. We believe that the idea of being excellent in something isn't restricted just to select groups, but it really is a question of whether you have contact with opportunities that foster that sort of excellence. And so we try to spread the opportunities that we receive within our communities and our schools and the competitions we compete in with the rest of our community, and make sure that all of that is open to be accessed by those who really are a village. So to do this, we believe that partnering with local and national institutions is the best way to amplify our impact. So we don't believe in just creating our own thing, sort of running it within our little sphere of influence and the people we meet every day. We want to reach out into our community in a significant manner and work with people who already have existing initiatives, existing contacts with underserved or underrepresented communities, and to work with them to be able to bring our team's unique skills to benefit our community. And so we work with Volunteer, which is a digital volunteering platform. And so that is how we meet volunteers that then will enter the NASA training and become facilitators for our camps. This is a great resource if anybody is struggling to find volunteers, especially if you're looking to have student volunteers who maybe have experience with robotics through competitions like this. This platform connects student volunteers, nonprofits, and schools on a collaborative platform to help them share information with one another and encourage regular volunteering with opportunities that align with students' interests. So it's available on the App Store and online, so you can go ahead and search them up if you're looking for volunteers. Of course, we partner with NASA for all the curriculum that we run our NASA Astro Camps on, and for the trainings and advice that is provided through this wonderful resource. We partner with a robotics manufacturer to obtain parts so that we can incorporate the highest level of quality and, really expose students to the types of things that they will see if they continue down a STEM pipeline. We partner with the University of Nevada, Reno's College of Engineering so that we can reach into their communities as well and sort of feature NASA days or other smaller 1 hour, 1.5 hour activities within their existing summer camps to make that NASA connection for them. We also partner with the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada, and so we're going to talk quite a bit about this, as this is how we obtained our funding through a local community grant, and we heard that's a hot topic here, so we have some more information on how you can find organizations that are equivalent to the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada in your states or localities. So we approached NASA Astro Camp with a methodology that is described in the 4 bullet points below. It aligns with our 4 pillars of STEM excellence, which if you'll see later, we'll have a website where you guys can visit and learn more about that. But particularly for NASA Astro Camp, we start by trying to make sure all our facilitators are qualified. And so that depends on where they're going to be working. So we have teammates whose expertise in STEM ranges up to advanced physics, advanced biology, advanced chemistry, astronomy award winners internationally, differential equations. We have that level of expertise available through the facilitators that we recruit to take part in our NASA Astro Camp. So we make sure that there is that level of deep technical expertise. We then also recruit trained educators to come and visit and give us advice on pedagogy and how we really do the teaching aspect of NASA Astro Camp. And so overall, when we go out to look for volunteers or to get people to join us in holding this NASA Astro Camp, we look to address each part of what it means to hold a summer camp for kids to make sure it's engaging, but it's also well taught and it aligns with NASA's Astro Camp curriculum exactly. And so that's the next point. Holding our NASA Astro Camps, we aim to make them as much authentic NASA experiences as we can. And so our experiences as NASA interns and then NASA mentors for the programs that we've interned with, we take that experience and that really goes into how we try to adhere as closely as possible to NASA Astro Camp curriculum. It's also why we go and look for funding in our communities so that we don't have to maybe leave out anything because we don't have the supplies for it. We pursue a method where we're using exactly what NASA has prepared for us. So we get sort of all the goodness, if you will, out of the really potent resources that are provided through the Live Binder. So when we first went through to think about what camps would we like to run, what materials would we like to feature, we sort of went with a dual approach of, okay, we would like to do this. We have these age levels that we're looking at. How much do we need to get in terms of funding to be able to run these exactly as they're designed and to really make sure we have the time and the space and the people to really get as much as possible out of those activities. We also aim to impact students beyond our immediate sphere of influence. So our friends, cousins, all that are going to hear about our Astro Camps, right? But we don't want that to be sort of the end of our reach. And aiming to really give back to our community, that means we need to reach out to parts of our community that maybe don't exist in our everyday lives. And so that's where our partners really come into play. In many cases, they help us reach kids that we otherwise would not. And so we bring authentic NASA experiences and embed them into existing summer programs. And then through that, we funnel kids into longer camps that are half day or full day and a 5-day thing that includes, for example, 4 or 5 modules from astrophysics, 4 or 5 modules from earth science or the Artemis camp. And so we start by embedding authentic experiences into existing programs and then using that as a way to meet new kids who we otherwise may not have had contact with and bring them into these longer experiences that we hold. And last, we want to make sure that this is available for everybody. And so to do that, we make our camps entirely free. So we pursue grants and funding from community partners to be able to do that. So unless they are completely free of a financial burden, we can't ensure that we're really able to access underserved and underrepresented communities. And so in approaching this, we really wanted to make sure that there was no financial barrier. And that's what we're here to kind of talk about today. The way that we went about this was to apply for grants. And so you'll often hear about more national grants for larger, long-term. Yes, I just saw the chat. Yeah, thank you. So that's actually what we would like to help everybody do if you guys are interested in it. So it's in many cases, it's completely valid to charge for the camps if that's the mission and vision you're going for. But in our case, we were really hoping to be able to provide these free of charge so that we could make sure as many kids as possible would attend. And so to do this, we went local to look for grants. So you'll often hear about maybe a $15,000 or something really big available nationally, but those tend to be a slower process to obtain and don't always align perfectly with when you're actually going to hold your camps. And so by going local, you'll actually, in our case, we were very surprised to see how much money is available to be reinvested back into communities. So I think donors who come from a certain area really are passionate about making sure that they can keep opportunities available for the youth in their community. And so in our case, we went and just searched for Nevada Community Foundation, something along those lines, funding for student volunteering. And through through that, we found the Community Foundation of Northern Nevada, and we saw that they had a grant that was particularly geared to youth. And so that's our next point. It's called the Youth Engaged in Service Fund. And so although your state may not have this exact foundation, it is quite common. We found that other states have things that are geared towards youth getting involved in their own volunteering and sort of giving back to their community. And so this grant in particular was looking for people age 5 to 24 to submit a proposal for a long-term project and apply for the right to have funding for a particular project. And so this is where, as a robotics team, we all pitched in and we all got involved in the grant writing process. And so in doing that, we are we enjoy quantitative statistics. A lot of us are math people. So we were very much into, we want to make this as specific as possible so that if there are any questions from the foundation, we can answer them point by point and make it as thorough as they would like to go, but also, make that information accessible for exactly what it is we plan to do. And so we came up with an itemized spreadsheet of all the materials we're going to need, where we're going to be purchasing those materials, what the current cost was for them, and what modules from the NASA curriculum they're going to align with. And so what's great about the curriculum the NASA Astro Camps provides is that they provide all of these supplies both in a huge aggregate list that you'll be able to find on the Live Binder, but then for each curriculum as well, each module within the astrophysics or earth science curriculum, they will provide all the materials you're going to need for that. And so it's already practically itemized for you. What we really did was sort of an act of picking out which modules we're running, compiling it all together, and then finding Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot links to be able to buy that information, those resources. And so the nature of the NASA Astro Camp curriculum is that it is detailed enough to make something like this very easy. So getting specific is maybe a 2-hour thing to do, but in our experience, it is something that people who are reviewing your grant really appreciate, because then they know exactly where that money is going. And so in the actual sort of essay writing for the grant applications, we focus on having a very clear impact, describing who we're reaching out to partner with, what ages of kids we want to be working with, and how long we're going to be running these camps to actually have that level of impact. And so through doing things like both these quantitative statistics and more qualitative description of how you're going to move through your community and actually impact them, the holistic feel that you want somebody to come away from your application with is a thoughtful approach. And so what we did was, as each of us maybe wrote a section, we gave it to the other and said, does this kind of bring that feeling of this is thoughtful, this is something worth investing in? And so we worked on that to make sure that it was as clear as possible for somebody who hadn't heard of NASA Astro Camp before, so they would know, from start to beginning what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it. And so in doing that, I think that was one of the things that really benefited us in the grant application process. And it's super easy because of all the materials that NASA provides. So we highly suggest looking for local grants. They're usually a little bit harder to find because of the nature of search engines, but they are out there and they do tend to be very generous. Another thing you can do if there's grants doesn't cover all of what you would like to do in the scope of your camps, or even if it does, but you'd like to reach out to more people, we highly recommend partnering with local institutions. And so in doing that, it's great to also kind of sort of lay out sponsorship benefits, if you will, and that usually tends to be something like we'll mention you on a website, or in running our at camps, we'll also maybe provide a brochure if you have another summer camp kids can attend, and sort of make sure that it becomes like a symbiotic relationship between organizations that are involved in similar sorts of summer camps and opportunities for youth. And then also, if you pursue a multi-organization partnership, that tends to sort of share the financial or space burden. And so in our experience, what we needed was funding, and then we needed space. And so by reaching out to multiple institutions and working with them, we were able to obtain that in a way that multiple people would be aware of what we're doing, be able to share it with all of the members that they already had, but then also be contributing as much as was feasible within their current budget. So we highly recommend creating sort of a network, if you will, of people involved in your Astro camps, and they donate, whatever they can, but then that really does come together into a great camp camp with plenty of resources and funding for whatever the scope of your impact is. And yeah, I mentioned before, websites. We think that this is really, really beneficial because it makes you findable on the digital sort of universe, if you will. So if you're reaching out beyond your sphere of influence where people might know you, it's really great to make it possible for them to search you up and kind of learn about what your philosophy is and sort of what you're up to besides NASA Astro Camp. And so we created our own custom website. And that is a completely free thing to do if you can code, but also if you can't, that is another thing that is available online. You can use Wix, Weebly. There's tons of online generators to make a website, and that can be up as early as like an hour or two. And we highly suggest it. A lot of people find us through our website and then want to get involved in what we do. So we would suggest taking that time if you have the opportunity to. So a few frequently asked questions, because we covered a lot of information. The way that we maintain our sponsors is that we use our grants exactly as specified, and we provide regular progress updates. And so that can be as long as like a newsletter of what the team is doing generally in addition to NASA Astro Camp, or even just a few photos from like the latest camp that we've held, and examples of what it is that we've heard back from parents or from students, what activities resonated most with people. And I think just being able to have sort of that knowledge that, I know where my money is sort of going to every week really benefits a long-term relationship with sponsors. We reach out to new partners using Google and email, really. So we first, of course, reach out to the network that we know, our schools and all that. But then we also go and see, okay, who is already in this space of mentorship and of holding camps? And then we reach out to them and we say, hey, we'd love to work in these ways. We think NASA Astro Camp aligns with what you're doing here. Can we maybe be featured at your STEM night? Or can we hold something in your space, because your space that's dedicated to STEM is also along the lines of what we'll be doing with our camps. And then we hold usually a meeting and we settle out how we're going to be working with one another. We mentioned this before, but volunteers to help you run facilitators. So to be able to run these camps, a lot of manpower is usually needed. And so we use volunteering platforms online in addition to just reaching out to people we know who are interested in STEM fields. And so volunteer is what we use, but there's lots of other options for that as well, for whatever's more prevalent in your region. So we highly suggest looking online and, creating an online presence for your camp so that people can find you and you can find people that maybe aren't directly within, the contact phone book you have on your iPhone. And when are we running our camps? We're looking at a mid-June to early August, so that we can make sure that regardless of what schedules people are already involved in, they can still participate in these camps. And we're just about over time. So if there's any more questions, please feel free to contact us. We'd love to connect with you through social media. So all of this is listed here. There's a QR code. You can scan it now or just screenshot this from our presentation. I think this might also end up in the live binder. So we would love to hear from you guys and do any maybe sort of cross-camp collaborations. So thank you so much for listening to us. If there's any questions, contact us. We would love to hear from you all.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I have to tell you that we scanned just now, Morgan just scanned your QR code and it popped up your website. So she says, I've already got their website online. So good job. Well done.